Five.
Good day, everybody. Welcome to this week's NenTot Tuesday. We are going to be talking about Alaska agriculture financing options. Of course, all of you, I believe, start out with a state of Alaska financing option. You have the ability to pay it off lickety split. But after that, here are some other financing options. I just wanted everybody to know how they can finance different operations, not necessarily paying off the land, but buying equipment. I will let the experts tell everybody what their options are and how they can finance different aspects of it. So today we have the ARRC, the FSA, and the ARLF. And I'm going to have Barb with the ARRC go ahead, and since that is, I believe, the oldest lending branch that we have here today, let them start out first. So Barb, if you would tell us what there is to know about the ARRC and the Alaska Rural Rehabilitation Corporation.
Okay, let me see if I can actually get this. Hold on, I'm trying to get it.
My grandfather might have had an ARRC loan because he was a colonist farmer in 1935.
Yes, hello everybody. I'm Barb Beckage with Alaska Rural Rehabilitation Corporation, and I'm excited to be here today to talk to you about the loan opportunities we offer. Alaska Rural Rehabilitation got its start back in 1935, and we were incorporated under the laws of the territory of Alaska. It was founded as a nonprofit organization under the direction of the Department of Interior and the Federal Emergency Relief Administration to administer the colony of 202 families being relocated from the Midwest. The participants in this relocation were allocated a house, 40 acres of land, necessary tools and equipment. The federal government provided loan money to enable the colonists to set up their farms and get established. ARRC administered those long-term low-interest loans and became the entity for managing and operating the agricultural project on behalf of the United States government. Once the federal loans were repaid, accrued interest remained in a revolving fund from which ARRC continues to make loans to farmers and others involved in agricultural pursuits. Through conservative management by its board of directors, ARRC continues its mission to this day to support the permanent development of Alaskan agriculture by providing funds for farm use loans statewide. ARRC is operated by a board of directors consisting of farmers and bankers, a manager, and small support staff. All of our loan types, we require that all customers fill out a 5-year farm plan with their application, have a current balance sheet within 30 days of application, and will also need the last 3 years tax returns. We have an application fee of $100 for new borrowers, and customers shall pay all actual costs incurred for UCC filings, recording fees, title insurance if needed on real estate that's used for collateral. All of our loans right now start at 6% interest and have flexible payment plans for monthly, quarterly, semi-annual, and annual payments. We loan up to 70% of the collateral value. ARRC does not accept animals or crops as collateral. We strive to make the application process as smooth and as quickly as possible within 30 days or less if we do not need to do title insurance on real estate. And the total indebtedness to ARRC is up to $200,000. On our real estate mortgages, you can use that to purchase land with or without buildings, can be used for the construction of farmhouses or barns, sheds, or outbuildings. We'll loan up to 10 years on raw land and up to 20 years with land with buildings. and that's still at the 70% loan to value. On our chattel loans, any of this is used to make capital purchase of new or used farm equipment, including vehicles, and can be up to a 7-year term. On our lines of credit are for any farming use, draw amount plus accrued interest on that draw amount only is due 1 year from date of draw. Loan terms are offered up to 5 years with real estate as collateral and up to 3 years with chattel as collateral. Our operating loans, this loan category is used primarily for the operation of the farm. Such items can include packing materials, twine for hay bales, potting containers, freight, etc. On our seasonal loans, these loans are primarily for the purchase of seed and fertilizer. They are up to 1 year, and you have semi-annual payments on that. And then we have our future farmers. This is youth category loans for ages 10 to 25. This category is for the future farmers to gain working knowledge of establishing a credit history. The maximum loan amount is $5,000, and collateral may be farm and non-farm with a loan to value ratio up to 70%. An adult must co-sign for the loan, and students must have passing grades. Thank you for your time. Barb Beckage, ARRC.
Thank you, Barb. Excellent
Thanks.
information. Okay, Shelby, or no, before we move on, I'm checking the chat. A couple people have said hi. Just real quick, are there any questions? I'll give you 20 seconds to respond and then for a question for the ARRC, and then we'll move on to Shelby. All right, let's go ahead and move on to Shelby. We can always come
Okay,
back.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Hello, I'm Shelby Johnson. I'm with the Farm Service Agency. So today I wanted to present an overview of our farm loan programs. See if there it goes. So FSA, not only do we do farm loans, but we also have farm programs. We provide disaster assistance, safety net assistance, conservation programs, and we have risk management programs. So, but we also have our loan programs that we'll be talking about today. FSA is the lender of first opportunity. Our loans are designed to help farmers start, purchase, or expand their farming operation when they cannot obtain commercial credit. Our loan officers are available to answer your questions and to help you with the application process. And we do have targeted funding for beginning and underserved farmers and ranchers. So like I said, FSA is supervised credit, which is different than traditional credit. We are the lender of first opportunity for those who may not otherwise qualify for ag credit. We make and service direct loans through supervised credit with funds from the U.S. Treasury. And we also offer loan guarantees for loans made by conventional lenders. Direct and guaranteed loan applicants must be unable to obtain sufficient credit elsewhere, be a citizen or legal resident alien, possess the legal capacity to incur the loan obligation, have acceptable credit history, and then at the end of the loan, you must be the owner, operator, or tenant operator of a family farm. You must not be delinquent on federal debt. And then you need to have the management experience for the type of loan that you're requesting. You must not have caused the agency a loss by receiving debt forgiveness. There are some exceptions to this. And you must not have been convicted of planting, cultivating, growing, producing, harvesting, or storing a controlled substance within the last 5 years. So our direct loan applicants create a realistic farm business plan that projects repayment ability for their loan, and then they must meet the general eligibility criteria that we just went over. You need to offer adequate collateral for the loan. agree to take borrower training courses, and then to graduate to the private sector when you're able to do so. You must not exceed the restriction on years of eligibility for each type of loan. And then you must have the applicable experience, training, education that would provide reasonable prospects of success for your loan. There are some requirements for experience. We do require 3 years of experience for farm ownership loans. Some of these can be reduced by using your degree, military experience, or having a mentor. So some of the lending basics that we offer is we help you to graduate. We want you to graduate to commercial credit. We help you to look at the 5 C's of credit: character, capital, collateral, conditions, and capacity. We want you to know your credit score, your credit report, cash flow, and your farm finances. We want you to have a plan for success and be able to repay your loans. Our current farm ownership loan, for our interest rates come out every month. Our current interest rate for the month of November is for farm ownership 4.5%. Our operating loans are 4.375%. And then, like I said, we do offer guaranteed loan programs and also beginner farmer down payment loans. Here's kind of an overview of some of our loans, and we'll go into those now. So our operating loans can be used to purchase equipment, livestock, production expenses, refinance some operating expenses. The limit on these is $400,000, and these must be repaid within 1 to 7 years. Our farm ownership loans, these can be used for land purchases, capital improvements, soil and water conservation, loan closing, and related expenses. The limit on these is $600,000, and these can be termed out up to 40 years. Our micro loans, we do have both farm ownership and operating micro loans. These have a limit of $50,000 or less. They do have a simpler application process and less paperwork. And they do have the similar uses for both the ownership and operating. Our operating loan repayment terms are the same, 1 to 7 years. Our farm ownership term is up to 25 years. Guaranteed loans are made and serviced by agricultural lenders. These are funded by the lender, and these are often used when lenders to help lenders continue with customers who have experienced setbacks. To qualify for an FSA loan guarantee, you must be able to meet the general eligibility requirements, be unable to obtain the loan without a guarantee, and have a feasible plan and adequate collateral as determined by the lender. Our limit for guaranteed loans is set annually, and currently the limit is $2,037,000. We do have a down payment loan. This is for our beginning veteran or STA farmers, and you must be able to provide a 5% down payment. These are used to partially finance the purchase of a family farm. These can be 45% of the lease of the purchase price, the appraised value, or $667,000. So the maximum loan on these is $300,150. The balance of this purchase is not covered by the down payment loan, and the loan applicant's down payment may be financed by a private lender, a co-op, or the seller. We do have an heirs property relending program. This is to help resolve ownership and succession issues. Eligible uses of funds are to buy out fractional interest and to pay for the costs associated in developing and implementing succession plans. All right, do we have any questions?
I'm monitoring the chat and I do not see anything.
All right. So like I said, I'm Shelby Johnson. I'm located in the Palmer office of FSA. I cover the southern half of the state of Alaska. In our Delta Junction office, we have Robert Garcia. Here's both of our contact info. Please feel free to reach out to us if you have any more questions.
Yeah, and this audience may be folks looking at the NenTot check it. So if there's a, I assume there's a Fairbanks office as well. And if they just contact you or Robert, you will direct them to the Fairbanks, or is it best that they talk to you or Robert?
We do not have an office in Fairbanks. Robert covers the northern half of the state. So Robert covers the Fairbanks area.
Perfect. Thank you for clarifying that. And the internet says they are good. So thank you for sharing that. And up next, we have Mandy with the Division of Agriculture's the Alaska Revolving Loan Fund. Take it away, Mandy, please.
Okay, I'll do the share screen. No. Oops, sorry about that. Okay, is that sharing? Can you all see that? Okay.
I believe it is, yes. Yep, go ahead and start. You are good.
No. Okay. Thank you all for having me. I'm here to talk about the Agricultural Revolving Loan Fund as a loan officer. And I did have the pleasure of meeting Shelby and Barb in person at the Farm Bureau convention about a week ago. So I'm glad I got to meet them in person. And also I want to point out, if you do decide to get a loan with ARLF, you can have a loan with all three of us. Actually, we see that a lot with our farmers. Okay, so our loan fund was established in 1953. This was actually when Alaska was still a territory. It became a state in 1959. And the objective of ARLF is to promote the development of agriculture as an industry through the state by means of moderate interest rate loans. And right now, I think our rates are actually low, but some of the lowest in the state, but I'll talk about that later. And then we have 3 office locations statewide, and then travel as needed. Then if you aren't familiar with us, our main office is located in Palmer. We're really close to the state fairgrounds, just across the street in the same building as Fish and Game. And we have recently been coming to the state fair for the Agriculture Day. So if you go to the state fair next year, make sure to check out our booth. And then these are the other locations we have: a northern office, and then we also have one in the Butte area. That's most of our seed testing. A lot of the scientific work happens in that office. And I would say our main office is in Palmer at that location in the 1801 South Margaret Drive.
I don't know if the slides have advanced to where you're talking about.
Oh, what happened?
Are you on the second slide now? The first slide is still the only one visible.
Oh, yeah, I am on the second slide. Let me see.
That's what I thought.
Okay.
You might have to click through it one at a time on your left-hand side of the screen.
Okay, can you see the next slide right now? Can you see?
Yes. It looks like it's going to have a farm in the bottom, some photos in the right, and
Okay, good. Yep.
It's not on the main screen yet.
Can you see the Alaska Grown or the fairgrounds page?
No.
Interesting. Let me start over.
On the top of your screen, it looks like there's some enable content or update now. Can you enable the content? There we go. Now you're doing good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so then let's go to.
You're on the third slide now.
Slideshow. Okay, can you still see that third slide?
Yes.
Okay, good. And then this should be the 6 loan types slide. Okay.
Nope.
No? Oh, that's so interesting. Maybe I'll just do it from the, okay. Can you see the,
Those are the loan types. Now we're back to,
okay, I'll keep it on this type of window just so it doesn't, somebody's not working with that. So for ARLF, we have 6 loan types and 2 fixed interest rates. We have short-term operating, shuttle, farm development, irrigation, product processing, and clearing. The majority of our borrowers are either short-term operating loans, shuttle loans, farm development loans, or product processing, or have product processing loans. And these are the maximum loan terms in each category. However, you can apply for less, or you can apply for a combination as long as it does not exceed $1 million. And then these are also our maximum terms, but just for example, if you want to apply for a farm development loan for 20 years, you could, or you could apply for 30 years and pay it off in 20 years, for example. And then they're all fixed rates, and as soon as you're locked in, it's for that term. And it's either 3% depending on the loan you're applying for, or 3.5%. Right now, our board has not voted to change these rates. At any time, they could change the rates at one of the board meetings, but in the foreseeable future, we see these rates staying about the same. And then ARF loan types and use of loan proceeds. So this is just a little bit more in definition of what each loan type is. We're very similar to ARRC in our categories. The short-term operating for those 1-year expenses, such as purchasing seed, shuttle for equipment. We can actually do loans for livestock. So that would fit in the shuttle category. And then product processing. This is to build certain facilities to equip them with the products needed to basically process that agricultural product. And then farm development, these are a lot of our land sale loans, and that is to purchase real property and construct non-residential improvements. And then we have the clearing and irrigation loans. And then a little bit more on our process. The application forms are all available online in PDF fillable form at our website, except for the 3 years tax returns. Of course, you would need to submit that as well. And then we also will take, so we have an income and expense statement form, but if you have QuickBooks or another way of keeping track, we can accept that as long as it has the same information required in the income and expense statement form. And then the 5-year operating plan is really important for us to have the 3 years projections. We like to see what you project your numbers will be in the future. And then one note about that is we understand in the beginning your farm might not be generating income, but as long as we can see an upward trend, even if it's within 5-10 years. Our application fee is only $50, and then closing costs are covered by the borrower. But if there's certain state recording fees, we'll cover them because we are the state. So such as the UCC filing fees, or some of the title companies have recording fees, but we can cover those because they go through the state. And then eligibility, you actually do not need 3 years farm experience. We prefer you to have some farm experience, but you can apply. And then we do prefer also some business experience as well. And then if you are applying as a business, just for example, you would need to be in good standing with the state. And then some additional requirements, if you're in an area that requires state permits or leases, we would need to see those when applying. And then conditions, we can lend up to 75% of the value of the collateral minus any existing liens. Okay, next slide here. And then a little bit about our process. It's different from, I would say, conventional lenders. So how this works is we actually have a Board of Agriculture and Conservation, and we meet about monthly, except for in the summertime. We give the farmers some time off. So an applicant would apply, and then they would need to submit these forms at least 30 days before a board meeting. And then the loan officer will review the application documents, and then if there's anything else I'll need, I'll let you know. So it'll be a lot of back and forth. I might contact you via email or phone. And then it's really for your benefit, because of course I want to get your loan approved, and I also have to take in consideration the risk factors. So I'll reach out to you just if I need additional information. And then the board meeting will meet, and then at that meeting they'll vote whether or not they'll be approving your loan. And then if they don't approve your loan, you will receive a denial letter, but that doesn't mean you can't apply for another loan again. And then if you are approved, the closing we have up to 90 days to close. We try to close a lot sooner than that. But then if we close within that time, you'll receive your loan funds. Of course, title work, when there is title work involved, it can take up to those 90 days. And then just a little bit of overview how it will work if you're interested in the NenTot land. That's a process with the Alaska State Land Sales. And so if you do apply with them and go into contract, it's a little bit different because the state still owns the land until the contract is paid off. So there's no traditional deed or warranty deed like some of our other loans we have if you're, say, purchasing land. And so say you go into contract with them, their interest rate right now is 9.25%. But since you can't apply right now and use that land as collateral, you can still apply for our equipment loans or short-term operating loans, or you could apply for a farm development loan using other collateral. And then the next step, say you go into contract for 5, 10, 15, or 20 years. After you pay off that loan, you could pay it off sooner. And you have a farm conservation plan that is verified and all set with the state, and you meet the clearing requirements, the state will issue a patent. They told me it can take up to 8 months. It could be sooner than that. And then the goal is for you to own the land. So once you own the land, then you could apply for ARLF for the actual farm development loan itself. So say you wanted additional funding, and then you could get locked into that 3.5% interest rate. And then you could also continually apply for those equipment loans or the other loans. And then basically it would be the same process as applying for all our other loans. I won't go too much into the numbers, but we have a pretty diverse portfolio. For farm development loans, we do quite a bit of them. They're one of our largest categories. And we really like having long-term borrowers. We enjoy working with farmers every year. And then if you do end up going through us for lending, we have a lot of resources. We also have grants that you could apply for separately. We have a really good marketing program. A lot of these photos were taken by John Whipple. So you'll be connected with us within the Division of Agriculture. And even if you don't decide to become a borrower, you could also connect with us with these resources if you wanted to be part of the Alaska Grown program. These are a few of our links. We also have 2 Facebook pages. And then benefit of ARLF, we're really diverse. Like I said earlier, we can do loans for mariculture, cannabis, and livestock. So we're very rare in that sense. New farmers can apply. It's a very transparent process. We follow Alaska law. We follow the Open Meetings Act. And then also one thing is the payments we try to fit a payment schedule that works for you, quarterly, semi-annually, or annually.
Mandy?
Yeah, go ahead.
So while a person is under contract a sale contract with the state of Alaska, they cannot participate in the cannabis production program because it is not federally legal. So while they're under that state contract through mining,
Oh, okay.
I
That's
was
good to
told
know.
specifically that was not allowable. They would have to have a patent to be able to do that. Just if you need
Yeah,
more
that's
information,
the point.
certainly contact the division. I will point you in the right direction. But just that was an incorrect statement.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. And so you would qualify after you get that patent. So maybe after 20 years or 5 years, if you wanted to go into cannabis. Yeah, that's a very good point. So during that contract, you can't apply for ARLF for those reasons. But in the future, and then our former attorney, Joan Wilson, she used to sit on our board. She's now in charge of the Alaska Marijuana and Alcohol Control Board. So she is a good contact if you ever had questions about that as well. And then if you do go to our website, these are just a few of our forms, PDF fillable. And I think that's the last slide. This is my contact information. You can reach out to me. In one of our other slides, I did have Erik. Let me put that up. Erik Mo Johnson's information, as well as Michelle Thaman. She's in charge of the land sales and contracts if you did want to reach out to her. Yeah, any questions? Thank you.
The internet does not have any questions. It appears a foreign person loves us. I believe that is some great information about Alaska agriculture. I was gonna ask what the prime rate was these days, but if the DNR contract is 9.25, that means prime rate is 6.25 because it's prime plus 3. And unfortunately, it's going to take several months from now, I think, for people to get to the point of getting a contract. Actually, some of the folks who are online, they're getting pretty far in their state farm conservation plan. It's probably going to go to the district fairly soon, so they might be able to take advantage of that. But that is, something to consider, folks out there. The interest rates are increasing, so the sooner you get your financing in place, that's probably a good thing. And on that note, I thank you for coming. I hope everybody has a good Thanksgiving. If John Whipple would get ready to go ahead and get us ended, I'm going to say, I think, gosh, see you at the next NenTot Tuesday, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank
Happy
you.
Thanksgiving.
Thank you for having me.
Bye-bye.
Yep.